Hey, welcome, and thanks for tuning in. Before we get started with this guided experience, I'd just like to share something brief yet important. Since this channel is relatively new, I don't yet have control of any ad settings. This means that it's likely advertisements can randomly play throughout the middle of the video at any time. This kind of interruption can be unsettling no matter what we're watching or tuning into, but it can be particularly unsettling when we're tuning into any kind of meditative or guided experience. Thankfully, if you're subscribing to the YouTube Premium service, your experience will be ad-free. However, if you're tuning in with a free YouTube account, please see the video's description box for other ways to tune into this episode so that an advertisement doesn't interrupt your experience. The options include a podcast platform and a link to a Google Drive folder where I've stored the recordings for free access, listening, and downloading. After the practice, if you've enjoyed your experience, it would help a great deal if you come back to the YouTube channel to like, comment, or subscribe so that I can hopefully gain control of the ad settings in the near future and eventually disable the mid-roll ads completely. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. Hi, thanks for tuning in. This episode's going to be a practice called Taking in the Good. It's a resourcing practice, very similar to gratitude cultivation. I was in a community earlier tonight, and we practiced a variation of this practice, and I loved it. It was really helpful, and so I'm simply feeling inspired to practice some more, and I thought I'd also share it. So this is what that'll be. You can practice this with eyes opened or closed. It's a little easier to practice with eyes closed as it just tends to amplify the resourcing aspect, but if you don't feel comfortable with having your eyes closed in this moment for any reason, that's okay. Eyes open works well too. You can also do this in any posture. I'm sitting right now. You could do it standing. You could do it lying down. You can even change postures in the middle of it. There's no need to freeze yourself once you start this practice. If you're in a posture and it just is too excruciating after a while, your body wants to move, let it move. And that's pretty much it. So we'll just kind of get started. If you need to pause the video and get situated, please take the time to do so. So without further ado, we'll get started. I just want to start with what's called self-havening. There are many ways to do self-havening. Right now I'm just going to do a motion of the hands, rubbing the palms together. And yeah, if you can do it that way, you can also rub your face from your forehead to your chin, or your nose to your chin. You can also start up at your shoulders and work your way to your elbows, kind of like a self-moving hug. These are the three main movements of self-havening that I'm aware of. And they've really been helping me in my practice, in my life. And what it helps with is it helps calm the nervous system. So these three motions help with instilling the brain with delta waves. And delta waves are the slowest of the brain waves that we can experience. And they're very calming, very relaxing. And so these movements, when done for a relative period of time, we're going to do it for a few minutes here, if it feels comfortable to you, of course. But when they're done for at least a few minutes, they can communicate a steady sense of safety with the nervous system. And so this can be a great way to prepare for any meditation practice. It can also just be something great to explore in the middle of your day, even if you're not meditating. But yeah, it's a great thing to do before we get into meditating. So as you're doing whatever movement you're choosing is right for you right now, I'm just feeling that on your body. Like if you're doing this movement with the shoulders, feeling the texture of maybe the sweater you're wearing or the skin of your palms on your arms. Or if you're rubbing your face, feeling the temperature of your face. Feeling all the bumps on your fingertips if you're rubbing your palms together. Whatever sensations are present for you as we haven. And if your eyes are still open, we can look around the room that we're in a little bit, noticing lights and shadows. Noticing maybe 3 shades of the color red. Maybe 3 things that are black. And how about 2 circles? All right, and if it feels comfortable, we can close our eyes. You can release the havening if you want. You can keep it going too. You can also pick up havening at any time during this practice. Please listen to your body and honor what it's asking for. So as we start transitioning into this guided meditation practice, we'll just feel our body in whatever posture we're in right now. Sensing the support beneath us, whether that's a chair or the ground, maybe a bed or a couch. Sensing all the contact points between our body and the surface beneath us. And breathing as we're sensing these contact points. Noticing how the breath is showing up for us right now. Maybe we're breathing from our abdomen, feeling the rise and fall of the belly with each breath. Maybe our breath is present more in our chest. Maybe we feel the breath more in our face through the nose or maybe the mouth. Maybe we're feeling the shoulders rise and fall with the breath. Maybe the ribs are slightly expanding and contracting with each breath. Maybe we're feeling a mixture of all these sensations of the breath. However the breath is showing up for each of us right now, can we rest with it? Can we let it be as it is? Maybe short, maybe long. Maybe feelings of constriction around the breath, maybe freedom, some sense of ease in the breathing. What's the temperature of the breathing? Resting, breathing. Taking a moment to now notice any sounds in our experience. So the sound of my voice. Maybe you can hear cars passing by, or motorcycles, airplanes. Maybe dogs barking, or conversations nearby. Maybe there's a heater or a fan or some other kind of appliance like a refrigerator hum. Maybe there's not much sound in your experience at all right now, and there's a sense of silence even. Maybe there's a slight ringing in your ear, like there is in mine. No matter what degree of sound or what kinds of sounds we're experiencing right now, we can always get in touch with the silence. Sometimes it's more difficult than others. So it's always here, it's always present as the backdrop where sounds emerge from. So if there's like a car passing by, you can listen to the car get louder, and then as it goes away, it fades and fades and fades into the silence. So just sensing whatever sounds or silences you're feeling attuned with right now. So resting on the surface that we're on, breathing and listening all at the same time. And now as we rest, breathe and listen, we can invite a good experience up in our awareness. This good experience can take many forms. So it might be a memory, it might be something happening right now. Usually something that comes up right away is something good to practice with for this kind of practice. Might be our favorite pet, or taking in some pleasant weather recently, some warm sunshine on our face. Might be a pleasant meal, or our favorite cup of tea or coffee. Can be any degree of pleasantness. The invitation is simply to find something that's really resonating with us, that feels really alive. Maybe a phone call with a friend. And when that experience, that memory, this recollection feels clear to us, maybe it's playing like a movie in our mind, the invitation is to freeze frame the movie on the part of the movie that has the most joy in it. Maybe it's right when in the middle of our friend's laughter. Or maybe it's that moment when the sun hits the horizon and the clouds really burst with purple and orange and all kinds of colors on the sunset. And when you've found that most lively aspect of the memory of the experience that we're working with right now, rest with that. Simply gently let that experience rest in our awareness and see what in our bodies is telling us that this is a pleasant experience, a pleasant memory, a pleasant recollection. Where is the goodness in our body that tells us this is a pleasant memory, this is a pleasant experience? Maybe it's the corners of our lips turning slightly more upwards than they were 2 minutes ago. Maybe it's a warmth in our heart. Maybe it's a softness in our shoulders. Maybe it's a warmth in our abdomen. Maybe it feels like the eyes are smiling. Maybe it's something else entirely. There's no wrong or right way to feel goodness, to feel gratitude. Wherever it's showing up in your body is right for us. Wherever it's showing up in our bodies is right for us in this moment. So when we find that sensation, that felt experience, that somatic marker of goodness, the invitation is to completely allow ourselves to submerge in the goodness, to bathe in it, to saturate and fully marinate in it. Just completely indulging in the felt goodness of this memory, of this experience. Breathing into it. Perhaps breathing it into our heart if that feels accessible to us. With each in-breath, we feel more warmth in our heart. Even if there's still some resistance around our heart or constriction or pain, that's okay. Doesn't mean we're doing this wrong. And if this is an area of the body that doesn't feel comfortable for you right now, you can breathe the goodness into whatever part of the body does feel comfortable. Maybe that's our abdomen, or our pelvis, our thighs, our knees, our lower legs, our feet. Maybe it's our shoulders, or our arms, our hands. Maybe breathing the goodness into our necks, our throats, our shoulder blades, our back, maybe into our face, into our brain, the sides of our head, the back of our head, the top of our head. letting this felt sense of goodness, maybe of warmth, flow throughout our body wherever it wants to go. And if it meets unpleasant sensations along the way, maybe physical pains or emotional pains, gently saying hi and saying there's enough space for you here as well. And as much as we can, staying in touch with the felt sense of goodness from this memory that we're cultivating, this experience that we're farming. Watering the seeds of goodness in this experience and really indulging and savoring this goodness. Knowing that with each breath that we breathe in and breathe out while tuned into this somatic sense of goodness, we're rewiring our nervous system to have more capacity for goodness, for gratitude. Breathing in the goodness, breathing out the goodness. If our minds start thinking about something else, maybe a to-do list, or maybe we have some minor aches and pains that are distracting us, that's okay. It's part of the practice. Whenever we notice we're distracted, we can simply label that as thinking, and then we can recall that most lively part of our joyful memory, or the most lively part of whatever experience that we chose to work with about 10-ish minutes ago. Just bring that most lively frame back up to help us get in touch with that goodness. And just keep coming back to this felt sense of goodness from this pleasant memory, this pleasant experience. Breathing it into our heart if that feels accessible. And perhaps on the out breath, imagining the goodness spreading out from the heart through the circulatory system and flowing into all areas of the body. Flowing out from the heart like a warm honey or a warm bath, nourishing every part of the body that it comes in contact with. Breathing in the goodness, breathing out the goodness. Sensing our body resting on the support beneath us as we breathe in this goodness. And I'm going to be relatively quiet here for about a minute, maybe two, to simply give us all some space to really soak and saturate and bathe in this goodness on our own. And knowing that, again, with each breath that we breathe while feeling and allowing the goodness to spread, more neurons fire and wire together in the direction of somatic goodness, of a felt sense of gratitude. And so I'm going to now be quiet for a minute or two. And now the invitation is to gently let go of this focus on the felt sense of goodness. Noticing what happens as we let go. Perhaps we can feel some residue of goodness still lingering in our bodies. Perhaps not. Either experience is okay. And gently getting back in touch, if we aren't already, with the felt sensation of our body on the surface below us. Getting back in touch with our breathing again. Noticing the sounds around us. Perhaps sensing a feeling of silence supporting all the sounds. And as we're ready in our own time, if our eyes are closed, we can gently allow them to flutter open as they're ready. Noticing the colors, the light, the shadow of the visual field, and the space between the objects, between ourselves and the objects. Maybe looking around our room, reorienting to our space. Sometimes turning around can be super supportive as we transition out of a meditation. Helps instill a sense of safety. Maybe stretching our body, doing some shoulder rolls. It feels good for me right now. Reintroducing some movement. And listen to your body. See if there's any movements it wants to make. Maybe yawning or sighing. Yeah. And taking your time to transition into whatever's next for you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you also found this resourcing. This feels very resourcing for me. I can still feel the gratitude, the goodness, residue in my body. And so if that's present for you, maybe see if you can carry it into your day, your afternoon, your evening, your night after this video ends. And yeah, please feel free to leave any comments, questions. I'd love to hear how it landed for you. So, thanks for joining me.